right in the middle of it.
What was I doing?
You? Directing the traffic, I should think.
In this increasingly petty vendetta with his old rival. Ben Brown, BBC News at the Gorbachev Foundation in Moscow.
The main news again, the Chancellor has set out the government's new economic policy. Norman Lamont told the Conservative Party conference that Britain needn't be afraid of life outside the exchange rate mechanism. Newsnight is on BBC2 at 10:30, but that's the 9 o'clock news tonight. Good night.
Question time tonight comes from Brighton and the Conservative Party conference. Around the table, the Environment Secretary Michael Howard, the leader of the Liberal Democrats, Paddy Ashdown, Labour's Shadow Chancellor Gordon Brown, and Captain of Industry Sir Clifford Chetwood, the Chairman of Wimpy. Your questions, your voice on Question Time tonight, 10:50 on BBC1.
Good evening. There's growing concern over the continuing rise in armed crime in the northwest. Robberies involving guns have increased across the region. Cheshire Police have now set up their first full-time firearms unit to tackle the problem.
Firearms officers from Cheshire Police at work on a new video training range near Worcester. The ammunition is live, the scenarios as realistic as it's possible to make them. They have to be these days, with armed robberies running at record levels. But combating armed crime also means stepping up crime prevention measures like this, a seminar for managers and supervisors of some of the 2,500 premises in Cheshire deemed to be at risk. At the same time, the Serious Crime Squad has been enlarged and its role redefined. It now concentrates on armed robberies targeting suspected criminals. Crime prevention measures, improved intelligence, more training and better weapons. That's the police response to an increase in armed crime that shows no sign of abating.
The trend towards more armed police has again raised the prospect that in future all officers will carry guns. The former Deputy Chief Constable of Greater Manchester, John Stalker, believes the idea is gradually gaining acceptance.
The resistance to the routine arming of police officers will possibly, over the next, what should we say, 10 years, and I hope it's a lot longer than that, the resistance will fall, not just from police officers. The present generation, of course, my generation, are very much against it. But the new generation, the people who in 10 years' time will be the new chief constables, will have been far more exposed than I was.
A baby boy is critically ill in hospital after a hit-and-run driver crashed into his pram in Liverpool city centre. The one-year-old child was thrown onto the road and suffered serious head injuries. Tonight, police are questioning a man in connection with the crash. And that's it for now. There'll be more during breakfast news tomorrow morning on BBC1 from 7 o'clock. Good night. Now here's a look at the weather with Bernard Davey.
Hello, it's set to turn colder for all of us. A band of cloud to the north here, a cold front will sink south very quickly by lunchtime tomorrow over southern England. Saturday it's gone. We still have the high pressure to the west, and these weather fronts to the north will extend southwards, bringing more cloud for Saturday and into Sunday. The wind at the moment, gale force over northern Scotland, rather gusty, going into a northerly direction for us all, and then eventually around to the northeast. The gale force winds running down the North Sea, and later tomorrow we finish up once again with strong winds from northeastern England through East Anglia into the south and down through the English Channel. The rain coming down, one or two heavier bursts at first, then the rain will turn lighter and patchy as it comes southwards. By the time it gets into the English Channel, perhaps nothing more than the odd spot of rain or light drizzle. Temperatures tonight 7 or 8, but turning much colder behind the cold front in northern Scotland. A much brighter day for much of western Scotland and Northern Ireland tomorrow. Just the odd shower around some northern and northeastern coasts. Further south there'll be a good deal of cloud around, some light rain and drizzle, perhaps the odd mist patch or fog patch over the highest ground. But even that will start to clear away. The brighter weather coming down from the north, the thicker cloud moving down into the English Channel, and perhaps just a hint of another odd shower coming on to these more eastern coasts. Temperatures tomorrow, a cool day, at best around about 13, in most places quite windy. Even in the south, the winds will eventually be picking up from the northeast, so that's going to emphasise the cold, I think, for most of us tomorrow. This coming weekend, you'll always need to have a coat with you. And then as we go into the weekend, for most of us, it'll be dry, bright and sunny. There'll be some frost around, both on Friday night and Saturday night. Then we'll find the thicker cloud working its way down across Scotland, and some of that thicker cloud will start to edge its way southwards. If you look around at the temperatures, you can see, once again, probably no better than around about 13. Eventually, some thicker cloud getting onto these eastern coasts with perhaps the odd shower. And just to summarise the weather for tomorrow, becoming brighter from the north. That's it. Good night.
Bent coppers I want in the bin, but I will not countenance a witch hunt.
1 officer retired on medical grounds, 1 cautioned, and 5 suspended on full pay. Not a criminal charge in sight.
Welcome to Beirut. You stand there behaving like a 2-legged Rottweiler, and you call me primitive.
You are in no position to deal.
Whether you like it or not, you are the judge and the jury.
Caught Between the Lines, tomorrow 9:30 on BBC1.
4 young Essex boys and girls with varied ambitions are facing their first job hunting experiences in present Imperfect on BBC2. Here on one, it's the experience of retirement, which Richard Wilson as Victor is still trying to come to terms with in 1 Foot in the Grave in 50 minutes. Now, from our Crimewatch File, a reconstruction of a murder without motive, in which police officers reenact past events with the help of real witnesses and actors. It's presented by Nick Ross.
That's affirmative.
I was really frightened by everything. I wouldn't stay anywhere in the house by myself. I felt safer out of doors than I did indoors. I felt as if anything could happen without anybody knowing about it, because that had happened to my dad.
The tragedy of Dr. David Burkitt's death has never been explained. No one knows why he was killed, perhaps not even the man who chose him as a victim. And Crimewatch couldn't help to find the killer. But at the very moment Crimewatch showed what happened here that night, by sheer coincidence, the mystery was resolved.
Something's not right, Frank. It's gone 4 o'clock now and David's curtains are still drawn.
So?
Well, it's been like that all day. And you know he never draws his curtains.
Well...
And there's been no sign of him either.
No.